Hello, 3L scholars. So, as promised, here's just a short little video to go over your practice that goes along with your grammar notes. So, first off, I have it split into two different sections for you. Okay, in part one, all that you do is identify what conjugation the verb belongs to. Okay, and then in the second part, it's a little more challenging, where you're going to identify the 5 characteristics of each verb. Okay, remember from your grammar notes, each verb in Latin and English has person, number, tense, mood, and voice. Right, so we're going to look at all of those for each one of the verbs down below. What we'll do is we'll go through a few examples of each just to get you comfortable with how it works. And then I'll go ahead and share the answers already completed. You can pause the video, while you wait for that. Finish up and then come back and look at the answers. Remember, if you just copy the answers down, you're not learning anything. I don't collect this, so you're really just kind of shortchanging yourself if you do that. But please, do each of the exercises and then check your answers. Okay. So with that said, let's go ahead and get started. So the directions say, using your grammar notes, identify the conjugation of each verb and then write it in the blank. Remember, there are 4 conjugations from your grammar notes. How you find the conjugation, remember, is you go to the second principal part, the infinitive, right? So first principal part, second principal part, so we go to this one, and then you chop off the RE, and whatever letter you're left with is called your stem vowel. Okay? The conjugation that the verb belongs to depends on your stem vowel. So and there's only 4 options, by the way. So if your stem vowel happens to be a long A, it's first conjugation. If it ends up being a long E, it's second. If it's a short E, it's third. And if it's a long I, it's fourth. All right? So let's go ahead and do a few, and then, like I said, we'll skip to the next part, and then we'll show the answers at the end. So, number 2, if we're looking for our what conjugation this verb belongs to, we go to our second principal part. We chop off the RE, and then what letter are we left with? A long A. So long A means first conjugation. Okay? All right. And I skipped over number 1 here, but we started it. In number 1, your stem vowel is a long E, so that one's second conjugation. Okay? Just skip around here. Number 6, we have mugio, mugire, mugiwi, mugitum. So same deal. Sounds a little bit different, but works the same way. You go to your second principal part, you chop off the RE, and then what are you left with? A long I. Long I, fourth conjugation. Okay, so that's all you're doing here. And again, really, the conjugation, it may not seem that important at first, but the more we get into actually practicing with conjugations and moving onward in our book, we'll realize that knowing what conjugation a verb belongs to is huge. Okay, and again, I think you'll see it's pretty simple once you get the hang of it to figure out what conjugation the verb belongs to. All right, let's go to part 2 here, which is a little bit more challenging. Okay, and again, using your grammar notes, you're going to identify the 5 characteristics. Remember, these 5 characteristics are person, first, second, third, number, singular, plural, tense, so one of the 6 tenses, mood, and voice. Remember, mood, you have 4 options. One of them we don't even know yet, and the other 2 are either the infinitive, the second principal part. None of these are the second principal part. I purposely didn't put any of those on here. And the other mood is the imperative, the command form. None of these are that either. So actually, you can kind of cut to the chase, and they're all going to be indicative mood. Okay, and then they're either active or passive, and yet again, we don't know the passive yet. So all of them are going to have these in common. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at how you do this. The quickest, easiest way is to look at your verb, have your verb chart from last video handy, this verb chart. Okay, have that nearby, and look at the ending. Okay, so you have with a bomb. Well, your ending here is bomb. You can find on your chart. Okay, so you can do this a couple different ways. I think the easiest when we're wading back in is just to use your verb chart and say, okay, well, where is that ending bomb? Oh, there it is. It's right here. So we can copy over the characteristics. So what person is bomb? Well, it's first person. What number is it? Singular. Okay, so we can write that first. First person, and we can abbreviate singular as SG. First person singular. What tense is it? Imperfect. Okay, and as we said, they're all going to be indicative active. And you can abbreviate that as well. Okay? Let's look at another one. I don't know. How about number 6, Waney Werot? Okay, so we'll look at our verb here. And first things first, see if any of the endings kind of ring a bell. Let's see, we can see that it ends in T, but you should never stop there. You should always keep going and see if it's actually a part of a bigger ending. Because remember, those OST, mustis, NT endings are often, they could be present tense, but they're very often part of a bigger ending. So let's keep going. And ooh, I see an A, an R, and E. Oh, we have the ending erot. Okay, so we can actually look on our chart again. And where do we see the ending erot? Oh, right here. So this is going to be a pluperfect ending. Another trick is you can kind of remove letters at the end until you get to something that should be like the stem of your verb. So whether you're using the second principal part for the present, the imperfect, or the future, or you're using the third principal part for the pluperfect, perfect, and future perfect, it's going to have a characteristic ending. Last excuse me, last letter. So in this case, if your last letter is a V when you cut off the ending, it's kind of a dead giveaway that you're over here on the perfect stem. Okay, anyway, so we already said that it was the pluperfect tense. What person and number do we have for erot? Third person, singular, pluperfect. Okay, and then as we said, they're all going to be indicative and active. Okay, so third person, singular, pluperfect, indicative, active. All right. So hopefully that gives you kind of an idea of the steps for finding this information. If it's a little overwhelming at first, don't worry. It's one of those things. The more you practice, the better you get at it. Okay. So please do practice looking for the rest of these. Use your resources. That's why you have them. Okay. And I'll go ahead and pause the video now. And when you unpause it, I'll have the answers that you can check against. Okay? As always, ask any questions from me that you have. I'm always happy to help. So go ahead and pause, and here we go. Move the answers up nice and slow, Star Wars style, so you can see. Feel free to pause the video again when you're checking your answers. Okay. So again, you can pause here again if you prefer. Have this open, checking your answers from before. Again, I already said, but if you have any questions at all while you're going through your grammar notes, don't be afraid to email me or stop by the Zoom office hours. Always happy to help. Just make sure you ask me before your quiz, right? When you're doing your quiz online, there's not a whole lot I can do to help you at that time. So always make sure you ask before. Okay? Thank you, scholars. Thanks for watching. I will talk to you soon.